Welcome back, everyone.
Food. I want to know what we had for lunch. I haven't had mine yet.
Routine now.
Let's see what we got for lunch. Show us some food love.
Let's see in the chat.
Pizza, lots of pizzas. So far, 2 pizzas,
Ribs.
three, 4 pizzas. Is this leftover pizza from the other night?
Yeah.
I want to know. And I hope it's not pineapple pizza.
No, pineapple pizza is gross.
Oh, okay.
Cranberry.
You saddened me, whoever just said that. I'm disappointed.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Returning again. No one will ever escape the conversation.
40. That was wrong. That was so wrong. Oh, goodness. It is a debate. Okay. Too funny. All righty. So we're going to have a few words at the beginning from the president of AAUW California, who we would not be here today were it not for her commitment for this program and for you. And so without further ado, Ms. Diane Owens.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mimi. It is so much fun to be here. And this is my third time. I'm really sad that this is the last Tech Trek 2021, but I hope you've all had a great time. Congratulations to all of you for sticking it out all week and participating in everything. I know you've had some great speakers, inspirational speakers, and you've had some great workshops. And I understand you've made a hat, and that is so interesting. The first time I saw them, I thought, how amazing is that? And then the next week, I saw even more amazing hats. And I bet this week I'm going to see even more amazing hats. It just gets better every week, and I love it. I love it. I just think this was a lot of work for a lot of people, Dr. Mimi and our Tech Trek coordinators, Susan Negretti and Alice Hill, and a whole team of people that have been working for months and months and months to pull this off. And I'm so proud of them. And I know you are too. And then we have this whole army of AAUW women who are volunteering to be with you for the entire week as coaches and social coaches and real coaches and peer coaches and all kinds of things. And they have done an amazing job, and I want to thank them all for doing that. This has just been phenomenal, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you've met new people that you're going to keep in touch with, and I hope that this will be the real beginning of your next year of school, whether it's 8th grade or whether it's high school. I know you're going to have a wonderful time. You're going to take all these things you've learned with you. So I want to thank you for coming. And I also want to say, be bold, be brave, and be brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love every time I hear that. I love hearing that. Okay, Alexis, take it away.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to Tara to take it away, actually.
Okay, Tara, that's right.
Alrighty, so hello everyone. This is our last Tech Trek Inspiration Hour / call to action. So let's enjoy it together. Once again, I know a lot of people were asking about this, but no attendance form for right now. So this is Odessa Zhang, and we'll be covering climate change activism, how to impact your community. So with her very impressive bio, Odessa is a junior at McLean High School in McLean, Virginia. She serves as the communications director of Youth Climate Action Team, Inc., which fights for climate justice and recognizes the intersectionality of climate crisis. Odessa is also the co-founder of the Speak to Empower STEP initiative that cultivates public speaking and leadership skills in marginalized communities. She hopes to emphasize the importance of youth activism and mobilization, specifically through the climate movement, So without further ado, this is Odessa.
Hi everyone, I'm really glad to be here for the last Tech Track session. I've been here already, done this presentation 2 times, and I really love giving and sharing this with you guys. So I'll be talking about call to action, and I will cover things from activism, from STEM, making change, and just my experiences, and hopefully after this, you guys will have the motivation and a better vision of your call to action and, making change in your own community. So again, just to introduce myself, my name is Odessa. I'm 16 years old. I'm from McLean, Virginia, which is very close to Washington, D.C. I serve as a communications director for Youth Climate Action Team. I'm really passionate about climate change, activism, women empowerment. So just to give you guys like an overview about, who I am, my experiences, and where I came from to, discovering my passion for climate activism. So what really started off in the beginning was when I was, visiting China as a Chinese American to see my relatives. All my distant relatives, all my grandparents, they live in China. And I remember the first thing walking out of the airplane, looking into the sky and seeing the gray, hazy skies, not being able to see a clear sky was something that was very perplexing to me, something that I always saw back in America. And this is where I saw with my own eyes, and I was able to have the perspective of the issues in China of air pollution. So, people around me, my relatives, they would actually have to wear masks, not just during COVID, but also just for safety to even go outside. And I realized the issue, and I was very, I was obviously pressed, and I wanted to know more about air pollution and about how our environment was being impacted. So I went on to realize, and I wanted to know that China is the world's leading annual emitter of greenhouse gases and mercury, with an estimated 1.24 million people that have died from exposure to air pollution. So this is obviously something that was, something that is very stunning, something that is very pressing. And this is just the beginning of my call to action, and where I was able to, delve in and learn a bit more about environmental issues. So now that I introduced a little bit about myself, and I talked about my experiences a little bit and about, where I came from, I really want to know more about you guys. So I really wonder, what does making change mean to you already? What are some STEM issues that you are passionate about? What are some things that you want to change? You guys can share right here on this link that I will share in the chat. So this is a really great sort of platform where you can share your responses by clicking right here at the pencil mark, and then you just anonymously write a response. You don't have to write too much. You can write a few bullet points, or if you're not comfortable with responding, that's fine as well. I just really want to see what kind of things that you guys are passionate about. I need to get the chat here. So I just sent it in the chat right now. You guys can open up, and I'm looking forward to seeing your responses. Yeah, so from climate change to poverty, pollution, these are really great issues. It's really great to see all of you guys responding to this. We already have over 60 responses. That's amazing. Clean air quality is so important. Helping people who are affected by genetic problems. You see, you can write about anything, niche issues. Doesn't have to be environmental, even though a lot of these are environmental. Good health and well-being for everyone. So that's so important. I see SDG, so the development goals. That's amazing that you guys are, looking into that. Normalizing women in STEM. healthcare, racial equity, helping people in need in general. That's a really great one. Kindness, the ethics in agriculture. That's a great one. Okay, let's look towards having close to 100 responses. We have 85 right now, and there's 200 people here. So it would be great to have, half of you guys responding to this. You can resend the link as well. And it's okay to be unsure as well about what kind of issues you are passionate about. Part of, this session is to help you guys, find the sort of issues that you want to focus on and learn a little bit more about, it's like kind of the kickstart of educating yourself and finding what kind of stuff that you're interested in. Like, I know for a fact I didn't wake up and say, I want to be a climate activist. Like, we all start from somewhere. Equal treatment. Yep, these are really great responses. All right, so again, thank you guys all for responding. You can keep on responding if you're not done, but I'm going to keep moving on with, the presentation and what I have planned. So really with what you guys wrote down, I want you guys to think about this throughout, listening to this talk. Think about the issue that you wrote down. Think about how, what you hear today can, go into your community and how you can make change in whatever you're passionate about. Really, we just want to get like a deeper understanding of what you guys are interested in, and we're just starting off from there. So bringing it down to the terms, I know hearing stuff like activism and stuff like that at such a young age is something that it's not like a conversation that we get, especially, in school. We don't really talk about activism, or we talk about like some people who have made change, some people in history, but not exactly, from the youth perspective. And that is where I want to bring down everything to the terms. You're going to hear me say a lot of these terms, and once you get involved with, activism, you're going to hear these terms as well. So activism is an intentional action with the goal of bringing about social change. An activist is someone who is consistently working to achieve some sort of social, economic, or political objective. This usually is seen through protest, pressure, like organization or resistance of any kind. And typically they would perform stuff like advocacy or also lobbying, which are initiatives of people coming together, collaborating with one another, like-minded individuals that want to make change, whether that's through influencing like political figures or, stuff like, officials and whatnot. That's advocacy and lobbying. And typically they work together in a coalition, which is a group of individuals that just, like-minded, they believe in the same things, they want the same thing for the world. They're just working together towards a common goal. So that these are like the terms that I will be using, and just, good stuff to know and a good place to start off with. So going into becoming an activist. So I know, like, as young girls, especially, since this camp is for STEM and oriented towards empowering women and empowering young girls, it is so important that you guys realize that anyone can be an activist. Anyone can make change, regardless of your gender, your race, your sexuality, whatever. You can be an activist and you can directly impact your community no matter what. So an activist is really someone that tries to, make social change, and that is, just beyond awareness, beyond just, educating and, being aware, but also, making change in your own community, whether that's through protest or other forms. And an activist must be educated on their cause and must be willing to be open to discussion and dialogue. So communicating with, not only other people in their coalition, but also other people who may not have the same views, other people around them that may not be as educated on the topic that they are passionate about. just someone who is able to communicate and be a leader, and someone who is able to see, eye to eye on issues. An activist does not have to advocate for a big cause. I know on, the path that a lot of us just filled out, there were, big issues from climate change to, ethics in agriculture. We have so many different problems here, different issues that you guys are passionate about, and they don't have to be big issues. They don't have to be something that, they don't have to be something big like climate change. It can be anything that you guys are passionate about. It can be anything specific. It's really up to you guys and what you want to make change in. So ultimately, in short, just bringing everything together about, activism and how you guys are involved. It's really just, identifying something that you are passionate about, the injustice that you do not want to see anymore, becoming educated on that issue, and finding other people, finding allies, making a coalition, joining a coalition. The only way to accomplish and make change, and I'll talk about this more about my experience with this, is through, working with other people. And we have, this camp where you guys have definitely made friends, you definitely met new people. And I'm certain from the path that there are so many, duplicate answers of, oh, I'm passionate about climate change, I'm passionate about women empowerment. You guys can come together here and definitely find allies, definitely find people that are like-minded and want to see the same change made. So it's really important that you guys work together, really important that you guys are able to, really try to work together in order to make change and take action. So in the discussion of STEM and activism, I really want to emphasize this, especially since this is what this camp is, working to, challenge the status quo. And that is, STEM being more inclusive for women. And that is so, so, so important. And, ultimately, this is something that we all definitely agree on, something that we want to fight for. And I really want to encourage you guys and emphasize that it is so, so important to amplify the voices that are challenging STEM to change for the better. So we, especially all of us, we should try to lead a movement with, new voices, the youth, the people, we're all like around the same age. I'm around the same age as you guys. And I think it's so, so important that we guys work together as young people, as, the new generation, and bring our communities together. As girls involved with STEM, just challenge the status quo, keep your head up, and work towards making change. I know this is something that is definitely pressing. It's definitely really upsetting to see. So this is something that I really want to emphasize throughout this, because I know I've talked a lot about activism. I've talked about making change, but bringing it down, this is something that is so, so important. And you guys should definitely keep your head up, lead a movement with this, and definitely work together to make STEM more inclusive. So I want to talk about getting started and mobilizing. So I'll talk about, my experience with this, and also just the importance of, envisioning and being able to start from somewhere. And that is to, if that's through making initiatives, then so be it. Not everyone is going to be at the forefront of, I'm guessing that you guys, the way to word this is that not everyone needs to create like an initiative. Not everyone needs to start something. They can also be, help you. You can also help each other, and you can also join like an organization which does, activism and stuff like that. So not everyone needs to start from ground zero, but if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely, listen in on this. So getting started and mobilizing, you really have to envision the kind of change that you want to make in. So I know in my introduction, I talked about my involvement with a climate change nonprofit. So that is actually something that I founded with my friends. And in the beginning, we actually envisioned that we wanted to have this organization only in our district, only in our city. Eventually, obviously, we would expand to more places. And that is what we first envisioned. We first envisioned small. We started in our own community, and we saw what others have done. So I personally have been inspired by climate activists such as Greta Thunberg. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with her. She's an amazing, amazing role model for all of us. as a young girl who is so passionate and has done crazy things. It really just emphasizes the power of youth, the power of young girls, and raising your voices, and it's so significant to making change and doing stuff for the better. So it's also important that you guys are able to organize. Building power as a group is very important. So if you're interested in, starting something for whatever issue that you're passionate about, you really have to build a group and find allies, find people that believe in the same thing as you do. These group efforts are the only way to, multiply your influence, multiply your impact, and influence others to, just create change. So getting started and mobilizing is finding what you want to do, starting small, starting in your community, and seeing what others have done, and also finding a group, finding other people who are on the same page as you, finding people who also want to, start something, make change. So going in a little bit more in detail with my experience and, how I started like a sort of initiative, which was for advocacy, lobbying. So actually my initiative was like a national lobbying event, which was something that I started with my organization. So I had the help of my organization, the nonprofit that I'm serving as the director for. So I was able to lead and plan this event because I had a group of people. I had my organization, my coalition backing me up, and also we just worked together to have this virtual event. And not only that, but we were able to work with another coalition. We worked with Gen Z for Change, which I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with, but it is a Biden coalition partner. And we lobbied, we were lobbying for the House Resolution 29, which is supporting the teaching of climate change in schools. And it was a great event. We had hundreds and hundreds of attendees across the country come. We reached out to all 50 states, and thousands of calls and emails were made. This is where, was a massive event that we were able to plan, and something that I'm really proud of, something that I'm really glad I was able to experience. And even if you guys are not, on the forefront of creating like initiatives like this, and obviously this is something that is crazy, something you probably can't even do unless you're part of like an organization. But there are lots of opportunities, lots of ways to get involved, and I think lobbying is a really great way for you guys to get involved early on. There's lots of opportunities around, and if you ever need help after this, you can always, I'm going to be sharing my contact as well. I can help you guys find lobbying events to join in. There's a lot of different ways to get involved, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So you're probably asking, like, how'd you do that? Or that's crazy. You were able to bring so many people together. And honestly, I think it's crazy too that we were able to get this. We were able to pull this through like a virtual event. We had so many people join us. We did this all through Zoom, and we made such a great impact. And the only way that I can really, think about how this really came together is just from the power of the coalition, just from the power of getting like-minded people together. We really planned it down to like nitty-gritty stuff. It was definitely tough. We had to assign tasks to one another. We really had to keep ourselves accountable for even like things like from gathering contacts to social media outreach. We had to really get that all done and really get that all perfect in order to make sure this event was a success. And it was also really hard to find other coalitions that would want to collaborate with us on this event. So we really had to communicate and find some organizations, and luckily we were able to find a really great organization, a match for us, the Gen Z for Change, that actually works with the Biden coalition. So it was really great, and we were able to conduct outreach from there. We had their coalition join us, and our coalition, we came together, and we really had a great event. So from this presentation, I'm sure you guys have heard me emphasize the importance of working with other people, finding allies, and the power of coalitions. And I think that's really important. We really have to work together in order to make change. You can't do things all by yourself, especially to such a large scale. And coalitions are a great way to get started. And I'm sure for a lot of you guys, you might think that this is, crazy. Like, wow, I don't think like I could do that at this age. I don't think that I could, plan a crazy event like that. And you don't have to be there. You don't have to be on the forefront of creating the event, planning it. You can also just be, an attendee to the event. And that is something that is, just as impactful as starting the event itself. It's not easy for a lot of us, and a lot of the times, I felt myself suffering from burnout because, from stuff like the COVID-19 pandemic and, so many global issues that have, gone on, and there's so many global issues continuously rising. Things aren't always going too great, and that's okay. And while many times you may think it's not possible to make change, or this issue is hopeless, like, oh, there's nothing that we can do in this generation, or things like there's nothing that I can do as a young teenage girl, but that is not true. And it's really, really important that you guys are able to keep your heads up. Again, activism is simply about working together, persistence, joining forces, and making change from there. I understand it can be hard to stay motivated. It's hard to, realize, your power, like the power that you guys have and your voices. And it's just really important to keep yourself engaged even when things aren't seemingly getting better. Like, I know, like, I see stuff going on about the climate. I see things going on all the time that make me upset. And um, while I feel, demotivated sometimes, I know everything I'm doing is for the better, and I'm making change. Even if it's, 1 inch at a time, I'm doing something, and that's enough for me. So I really want to emphasize that it's okay to be, upset about global issues. It's okay to be upset about, whatever issue that you're passionate about. As long as you are able to keep your head up, as long as you're able to, just keep your passion intact and keep your will to change altogether, that is enough. Everything you're doing is valid as long as you're, focused on whatever you're focused on. And that also goes into, the importance of youth girl activism. Your voices are so, so important. Like, for example, we have amazing people like Greta Thunberg that I just talked about her. She led a one-person campaign against climate change, and it brought together so many other people, so many other teenagers from across the globe, from, America, Europe, Australia, and just across the globe. It was an amazing movement. And it really just showed the whole world that young people have a say on these issues, even though they are, usually excluded from them, even though they're not in the conversation. They do have a say on these issues. And we can also never forget people like Malala, who continues to fight for education for girls. She's an amazing figure, and these are just, two amazing activists and across the globe that really just showed that, age, you can be young and make a great impact in your community and even the world. So it's important to realize we are the next generation. We do have a voice, and we have to assert ourselves and make sure that our voices are heard, make sure that, for the future and for the good of, the next generations, we can make change and we can solve some of these problems going on in the world. I know a lot of you guys responded to the Padlet, and I believe I saw one response that talked about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I think you guys did talk about this throughout the camp. But I find these are really great goals that help keep me, not only like aware of what's going on in the world, but these goals really touch base on a call for action by all countries across the globe, not only developed nations, but also developing nations. Together, there's so many issues that we need to focus on, and so many issues that we need to we want to make change in. And I find these goals really encompassing all of them. So whenever in your free time, or if you're still wondering what kind of issues you want to make change in, or what kind of issues that you want to learn more about, starting here from the goals is really helpful for painting out global issues going on. Like, I know they have stuff from climate change to equity in general. There's so much. So I also want to touch base on, where you guys come into this and where you guys really have to ask yourself some questions, really have to, think about how your call to action is coming to be, what kind of stuff you want to do. And that's where it's just like a time where I really want you guys to reflect. I find this visual to be really helpful, and we can start from, if you can start from the leaves, we can say, what problems do you already see facing your community? This is a very broad question. This is probably the question that you guys asked yourself when you wrote the Padlet. So if you want to think about that right now, think about the problems that you see in your community, not only the community, but also, the globe. Really want to think about that now. And then next, I want you guys to think about what structures, practices, and policies institutionalize the problems. So, what's causing these problems to come to be? Why are things like this? And I know that's a hard question to ask, especially if you're not, an expert on the issue, on whatever issue you have in mind. But definitely think about this. It really is. It's really helpful for putting things in perspective. Then lastly, we can go on to the roots of the issue. What are the underlying historical, social, or economic root causes of these problems? So why do these problems even exist? Or why do these policies exist? Why, it's kind of similar to what the question that I just asked, but just in general, how did everything come to be? What's going on? What are the systemic aspects of this issue? I want all you guys to think about that. Think about what you wrote on the Padlet. Think about, some issues that you're passionate about. Think about the Sustainable Development Goals, and bring this all together into, your call to action. And if this wasn't helpful for you guys to figure out what kind of issues that you want to focus on or your call to action, then that's completely fine. It's not like I said, you don't just wake up one day and say oh, I want to be a climate activist. It's not how it works. Everyone's, learning all the time. Everyone's educating themselves. Everyone's having different experiences, and not everyone has seen, problems in their community, and that's okay. It's different for everyone, but it's important to be aware and to keep educating yourself. And when you can really be in that position to make change, be bold, do something for your community. And, if anything, really just make sure that you amplify your voices, keep your head up, and, lead a movement of, women that really want to, focus on equity, focus on, more inclusivity for STEM. That is something that is so, so important. So that pretty much concludes my presentation on, activism and, my experiences and just the call to action. Here I also want to bring up an opportunity. So I talked a lot about Youth Climate Action Team, which is the organization that I'm part of, the organization I was able to plan the lobbying event for. This is an opportunity for all of you guys, a coalition, a really great coalition full of youth. We have thousands and thousands of organizers, thousands of people across the globe. We have different hubs. We have, we have a YCAT. It's called YCAT. It's a short version of the name for Mexico, Uganda, Canada, across the globe. It's a really great way to get involved at a really young age. I can put the link to our main website right now in the chat. If I can get there. I'll send it in the chat right now. So hard to open the chat when I'm screen sharing. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, for some reason I can't open the chat right now, but it's a really simple website. It's ycatinc.com. Everything there is really straightforward. There's tabs for getting involved and where you can fill out a form, and we'll email you with all the information about where to get involved, some things that are going on. And we also have an Instagram page, so if you want to check that out, it's called Youth Climate Inc. It's a great way to A, stay educated on environmental issues, but B, also find opportunities for lobbying, opportunities for just getting involved in whatever you're interested in. Not only are we focused on the climate crisis, but also intersectionality. So we recognize the climate crisis is, intersectional, goes with many issues, and they all, really, impact one another. So again, this is a great opportunity. If you guys would be interested in, definitely check out our website. But that pretty much concludes my presentation, my talk about, activism and change. I'll take any questions now as well.
Alrighty, so we actually ended perfectly on time, and we're going to start our Q&A right now. If everyone could type their questions in the chat so I can read them out for you, or raise your hands, that would be great. Let's see. I'm gonna also pull the chat. Sheely, go ahead.
So like when people were saying like you can't do it, what really motivated you? Was it like a quote or something that somebody said that really changed your perspective?
So I think what really motivated me was finding other people, and it's really hard to be by yourself. And while I was able to get the passion for the climate movement on my own, it's demotivating when you don't have other people around you, hyping you up, also telling you like, oh, we can work together on this. And it's always important to have people around you that are like-minded. So I think it was really important for me to find a coalition and find my group of people. And that is where I came to this organization, where I met so many great people, so many great friends that motivate me consistently to keep my head up. And we just help each other, and we keep ourselves in check as well, and we keep each other in check to make sure everything's good, and we're keeping our heads up and working towards making change. I think finding a group of people is so important.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see. Someone asked if they could go to the bathroom. Yes, you may. But other questions? Oh, there's one from Tiffany in the chat. Did you start any clubs at your school to encourage people to join you, or were there already clubs you joined?
Okay, so the way that I was able to get to the organization, we formed the organization, was from an environmental club from middle school. So I was able to get a bunch of people. We were just the environmental club back then, but we were already friends, and we wanted to do something to a bigger scale. We wanted to, make we started off wanting to make like an initiative, especially since we didn't see anything else in our community that was doing anything similar. We wanted to start off from there, and that's where we started off as like a district little group, and then we moved on to become an international organization recently.
Perfect. So that actually, we can transition into this next question. So someone asked if they could join even if they're all the way in California.
Yes, you can. We have people, across the globe. We have people in Germany, Mexico, Uganda. You can definitely join us, wherever you are.
Awesome. Sophia's asking, what are your main goals you hope to reach this year?
Main goals we hope to reach this year. Definitely really want to be able to go to some more climate protests. I know this year was very difficult for a lot of people in my organization, for me personally, to be able to, go out physically because, a whole lot of circumstances with COVID and, every other issue that's going on, especially since I'm so close to Washington, D.C., which is a perfect place to go. I really want to be able to go together with my coalition and go in person. Hopefully that is definitely like a primary goal that I want to get to.
Great. So someone also asked, what advice do you have for people wanting to start clubs regarding similar issues?
So some advice that I have is, I don't know like what the kind of, requirement it is for each school, but you all, technically in order to start a club, you need to have like at least a certain amount of members, whether that's 5 or 10, something around there. You definitely want to start off having that group and make sure that the people around you are actually, they care about the issue. They want to start off, because from the beginning, it's going to be hard to start. It's going to be hard to literally just start in general. So you really want to make sure that these people are passionate, willing to, go through some tough stuff to make sure that you're able to actually launch a club, because it's not easy. I know a lot of clubs start, but they, go to nothing, or they don't really accomplish anything. So make sure you have passionate people who are willing to, work through it and, start off something.
Great. And with that, we actually have this question asked quite frequently across this week, but what is the best advice you have received throughout your journey?
The best advice that I see, I would say, coming from, like a young girl like a young girl, a person of color, I think it's important that you just got to keep your head up. Things are not going to be easy, especially, we have current events, we have stuff going on all the time. Just keep your head up, and as long as you're pinpointed on the change that you want to make, you're doing fine, you're doing enough. You really don't have to quantify your success in any way. Just focus on whatever you want to focus on, and that is enough.
Got it. And then I think I know what Jimena is asking around here, but I think she is going around like maybe future solutions or possibilities for air pollution in China to improve, or other polluted places.
In terms of solutions for air pollution in China and other polluted places, I know this is a very broad question. I think it's really important to invest in technology, especially now that it is 2021. We really need to invest in technology that is able to enable us to, solve all these problems. There's so many innovations that are, present for us, and hopefully we can look into technology, but also it's important to get the regulations down as well. I remember, in China, there's very few regulations on, littering and air pollution in general, and the lack of, responsibility that factories have and also the businesses have on the environment. So I think it's important that we are able to reform the regulations and also invest in technology as well.
Thank you. And your group, is it trying to find solutions or spread awareness primarily, or even both?
All right, so our group is doing a whole lot of stuff, from solutions to, in terms of, actually we have like an initiative where people can research. It's a global teen research study that we are looking to find solutions to renewable energy sources and finding renewable energy sources. But we also do awareness spreading, and that is through, social media, our events, etc. We do our best to share all the current events that are going on regarding the climate movement.
And then, do you see yourself working with this organization in the long time? And does your future career have an involvement with your passion of climate change?
I definitely do see myself working with this organization. We've already, been here for over a year. We've done so much, and I'm really proud. I'm really happy to be a part of this organization, and I want to keep myself, involved with the climate movement in whatever way possible. In terms of my future career, I definitely do want to be involved with climate change. I know I'm going to definitely keep myself involved with any coalition there is. Like whenever I go to college, wherever I go, I'm definitely going to get involved with coalitions there. I do want to go into something revolving environmental issues. I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to focus on, climate change.
Thank you. And I don't see any more questions in the chat or raised hands. Do we have any last minute ones? Oh, okay. Cameron, what is your question?
I was wondering, how do you find those people? Like your people who you know are going to be passionate and work with you. How do you know who they are?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think it's different for everyone. It was really easy to find them at my school because they already had the environmental club, established, and the people that joined anyways were already interested in the topic. But if it's going to be hard for you guys to find people who are like-minded, you can also just try to educate other people and see if they would be interested in the issue that you're passionate about. Like I said, an activist is someone who is able to communicate with others and see eye to eye. talk to your friends, talk to the people, talk to your neighbors, your classmates, talk about these issues, and see what kind of coalition you can build from there.
Thank you. Any other questions for Odessa? Alrighty, I don't see any more. Do you want to have like a final message or final remarks for everyone here? Because it seems like they all are interested or getting their gears turning for starting their own initiatives. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Odessa, again.
All right, so final remarks are just like all of you guys are amazing, powerful, beautiful young girls that really can do amazing stuff. And I really think it's important that you guys understand that and really put your mind to it. Whatever you guys are passionate about, you can do it. You can make a change. Anyone can be an activist. And if you ever need any help with, figuring out what coalitions to join, or if you ever need advice on, how to start my own initiative, how do I start my own organization, you can always contact me. I'm going to send my email right here in the chat. So if you ever have any questions, you can contact me. I'm happy to respond and happy to help any of you guys. I just think it's so important to amplify young voices, and that's the reason why I'm here, just to share that message and just to keep you guys empowered, keep you guys motivated. But if you have any questions, if you need anything, you can always email me here.
Wow, thank you so much, Odessa, for concluding call to action here. If everyone could unmute themselves for a bit and just say thank you to her, that'd be awesome. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the chat's going.
The chats, we've trained them well to not. Wait a minute, they somebody unclicked the thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Alrighty, then I'm gonna turn it back to you, Dr. Mimi.
Thank you, Odessa. That was great. I listened to you and I think this is the message that they need to hear at this point in time, because we've just done all this heavy lifting. And this was some heavy lifting for many of us. Some of us, it was pretty easy. Even those of us who have done this before time and time again, always there's something puzzling that comes up. And I think I saw it in one of the videos last night. She had drawn a picture of perseverance as a stick man pushing something up a hill, or a man pushing something up a person pushing something up a hill. And that's truly what this has been. It's been an uphill struggle, but we got there. We're at the top of the mountain, and now we have to keep the momentum going. So thank you for helping give us a little bit of a push to keep going and offering support in the future. Okay.